No, I don't care who he says he is. He doesn't belong here. He's dangerous. Can't you see what's happening? He needs to be arrested. The white woman's voice was shrill, filled with rage. Her face was red, her hair messy, and spit flew from her mouth as she screamed at a tall black man standing calmly, his hands cuffed behind his back, heartbreak in his eyes as he watched a small blonde girl sob uncontrollably. Daddy, Daddy, please don't take my daddy. He didn't do anything wrong. Please, he's my daddy. The woman who had called the police felt vindicated. She stood breathing heavily, satisfied as her dangerous neighbor was loaded into the police car, not realizing she had just made the biggest mistake of her life. The only man who could save her dying child was the very one she had destroyed. If you want to see karma in action, hit that subscribe button right now. Tell us where you're watching from and type karma in the comments, because this story will leave you speechless. To understand how everything went so wrong, we need to meet the people whose lives would become forever intertwined. Marcus Williams was 38, 6'2", strong, covered in tattoos that told stories of comrades lost in Afghanistan. He wasn't intimidating. He was a decorated war hero and now one of the country's top pediatric trauma surgeons. His tattoos honored fallen friends and children he'd saved. He'd moved to the quiet, upscale neighborhood of Willowbrook for one reason: to be close to the hospital and to give his daughter a good school. That daughter was 8-year-old Sophia, a burst of sunshine with blonde hair and blue eyes who followed Marcus everywhere, calling him Daddy. She had no memory of her biological father. Jake Morrison, Marcus's best friend who died in Afghanistan. Over Jake's body, Marcus had made a promise to raise and protect Sophia as his own. He'd kept that promise every day. The adoption was finalized when Sophia was 2. Their love was unbreakable. But not everyone saw it that way. 3 houses down lived Karen Mitchell, 42, a real estate agent whose life had been crumbling for years. Once successful, now bitter, she lived alone in a large empty house, nursing her resentment after a painful divorce. Her 7-year-old son, Tyler, lived mostly with his father. Tyler had a heart condition, and Karen's fear for his health made her controlling and paranoid. She was also the self-appointed neighborhood watch coordinator, taking the role far too seriously. On a quiet Tuesday morning, Marcus and Sophia were in the kitchen, flour on the counters, finishing a batch of cookies. Sophia wanted to take them to their new neighbors. "Can we put extra chocolate chips in Mrs. Karen's cookies?" she asked. Marcus smiled. "Of course, sweetheart." They placed the cookies and coffee in a basket with a handwritten note. "Hello. We're your new neighbors, the Williams family." It was the beginning of what should have been friendship, but would become a nightmare. When Marcus and Sophia walked up Karen's pristine pathway, Karen watched through her window. She saw a large black man with tattoos and a little white girl, and her mind raced to the darkest conclusions. Instead of a father and daughter, she saw danger. She opened the door with the chain still on. "What do you want?" Marcus smiled politely. "Hi there, I'm Marcus, and this is Sophia. We just moved in next door." Karen's eyes darted between them. "Is that your daughter?" she asked sharply. Marcus, used to that question, replied evenly, "Yes, she is. We brought you some cookies." "I put extra chocolate chips," Sophia added cheerfully. But Karen didn't smile. "I don't accept food from strangers. Stay on your side of the property line." Sophia's smile faded. Marcus's voice stayed calm. "Of course. If you ever need anything, we're right next door." As they walked away, Sophia whispered, "Daddy, why didn't she like our cookies?" Marcus sighed softly. "Some people aren't ready to make new friends yet, sweetheart." But he knew it wasn't about cookies. The moment they were gone, Karen was on the phone. "Linda, you won't believe what just moved in next door. A big black man with a little white girl. Something's not right. I'm keeping an eye on this situation." That call was the start of everything. The next morning at 7:30 a.m., Karen sat by her window with binoculars. She watched Marcus braid Sophia's hair and walk her to the bus stop. She took photos, convinced she was collecting evidence. To anyone else, they looked like a loving father and daughter. But to Karen, it was proof something was wrong. She took her evidence to Sophia's school, where she was known and respected. I'm concerned about one of your students, she told the principal, spreading out her photos. A little white girl living with a man who doesn't look like family. The assistant principal, who owed Karen a favor, took her seriously. We'll look into it, he said gravely. Karen felt righteous. Someone has to protect that child. Week 2, she saw Marcus and Sophia at the community pool. Marcus was teaching her to swim, carefully applying sunscreen, cheering as she learned to float. Karen watched and muttered, "Suspicious." She approached the pool manager. "That man with the girl, check if they're residents." Moments later, staff demanded Marcus's ID in front of everyone. Parents stared, whispers spread. Sophia clung to her father. "Daddy, why did that man want to see your papers?" she asked softly. "Sometimes adults make mistakes," Marcus said gently, but his heart ached. Karen's campaign escalated. She filed noise complaints about Sophia's piano practice, then called Child Protective Services. "A small white child living with a black man claiming to be her father," she told them. "I'm the neighborhood watch coordinator. I've documented concerning behavior." CPS launched an investigation. Marcus's home was inspected top to bottom. The caseworker spent hours reviewing adoption papers, medical records, and interviewing Sophia. When she left, she said quietly, "This was a malicious report. You're a wonderful father, Dr. Williams, I'm sorry." But the damage was done. Sophia had nightmares that someone might take her away. Karen still didn't stop. She organized a community safety meeting about protecting our children. Flyers went up everywhere. She was rallying the whole neighborhood. That Saturday, Marcus was teaching Sophia basic car maintenance. She wore pink overalls, struggling to loosen a lug nut as Marcus guided her hands. She laughed, covered in grease. Karen, watching, whispered, "He's teaching that child to steal cars." She grabbed her phone and dialed 911. "There's a suspicious black man with a white child. I think she's in danger. He's teaching her to tamper with vehicles." Minutes later, sirens wailed down Maple Street. 2 patrol cars stopped at Marcus's house. Neighbors came out, phones recording. Sophia hid behind her father. "Officers," Marcus said calmly, "is there a problem?" "We received a call about suspicious activity," Sergeant Murphy replied. "I'm teaching my daughter how to change a tire," Marcus explained. Karen came running across her yard. "Officers, thank goodness. I've been documenting them for weeks. That's not his daughter." Marcus handed over his adoption papers. The officers reviewed them but still decided to detain him. As they cuffed him, Sophia screamed, "Don't take my daddy! He didn't do anything wrong," Marcus said quietly. "You're scaring her." Karen shouted, "See how she's reacting? That's not normal. She's been conditioned." As the patrol car drove away, Sophia sobbed in Mrs. Hayes's arms. The video of that moment would go viral within hours. At the police station, Detective James Rodriguez was processing Marcus's case when his phone rang. The caller ID showed Children's Hospital. "Detective Rodriguez," he answered. "Detective, this is Patricia Morgan, hospital administrator. We have a 7-year-old in cardiac arrest. Dr. Marcus Williams was supposed to perform emergency surgery, but we can't reach him. He's our only pediatric trauma surgeon on call." Rodriguez froze. "Dr. Marcus Williams?" he repeated, staring at the man sitting quietly in the holding cell. "Are you telling me the man we arrested is your head surgeon?" "Yes," Patricia said urgently. "If we don't get him here soon, the child won't make it." Across town, at her ex-husband's house, Karen's phone rang. "What is it, David?" she snapped. His voice trembled. "Karen, you need to get to Children's Hospital right now. Tyler collapsed at soccer practice. It's his heart. It's serious." The words ripped through her like a knife. She dropped everything and sped across the city, running red lights, praying out loud. When she burst through the hospital doors, she found David and his wife, Sarah, pale and shaken. "Where is he?" Karen cried. "They said he needs surgery," David stammered. "It's bad, Karen. They're looking for a surgeon, some Dr. Williams." A nurse approached, professional but grave. "Your son's in critical condition. He needs immediate heart surgery. Dr. Williams is our best surgeon, but we can't locate him." "What do you mean you can't find him?" Karen shouted. "Get him here now!" The nurse sighed. "We've been trying. Dr. Williams has never missed a call in 5 years. Something must have happened. Karen paced the waiting room like a trapped animal, her mind spiraling. Her son was dying. The only man who could save him wasn't there. She called every hospital contact she knew. After an hour, Patricia Morgan appeared. "Mrs. Mitchell, we found Dr. Williams," she said. "But I need to ask, do you live on Maple Street?" Karen blinked. "Yes, but what does that have to do with anything?" Patricia's face hardened. "Did you call the police today about a suspicious man with a child?" The question hit like lightning. "No," Karen whispered, shaking her head though she already knew. No. That can't be." "Dr. Marcus Williams has been in police custody for 3 hours," Patricia said quietly. "He's the surgeon who was supposed to operate on your son." Karen collapsed into a chair, gasping for air. "Oh my God, what have I done?" Patricia's tone was cold. "Your call almost cost your son his life. Dr. Williams is being released and will be here shortly." Karen sobbed uncontrollably. The man she'd called dangerous was the only person who could save Tyler. 25 minutes later, the elevator doors opened. Marcus stepped out, still in the clothes from his arrest, exhaustion in his eyes but purpose in every step. Karen saw him and froze. He looked at her briefly. No anger, only disappointment. She stumbled forward. "Please, I know what I did. I was wrong. But please don't let my son pay for my mistakes." Marcus paused. "Ma'am, I took an oath to save lives. Your son will get the best care possible. The surgery lasted 4 agonizing hours." Karen waited in the hallway with David and Sarah, who now knew the truth. David's voice was low but furious. "You spent weeks stalking and harassing the man who's saving our son." "I thought I was protecting children," Karen whispered. "The only thing you needed to protect him from was you," Sarah said coldly. At 2:17 a.m., Marcus emerged, removing his mask. His face was weary but calm. "Tyler is going to be fine," he said. "The procedure went perfectly. His heart's stable." Karen broke down in tears. She wanted to thank him but couldn't find the words. The man she had destroyed had just saved her child's life. Within 2 days, the video of Marcus's arrest spread online under the hashtag Justice for Dr. Williams. The clip of Sophia screaming for her father shattered hearts across the country. Outrage grew. News anchors demanded accountability. Comment sections filled with fury. The hospital released a statement defending Marcus's integrity and confirming the false accusations. Karen's world collapsed overnight. She was charged with filing false reports, harassment, and making fraudulent claims to CPS. The real estate board revoked her license. Clients vanished. Her friends stopped answering her calls. The neighborhood turned on her completely. Parents who once listened to her warnings now avoided her. She was shunned by everyone. When Tyler woke up, he found Marcus checking his chart. "Are you the doctor who fixed my heart?" he asked weakly. Marcus smiled. "I am." "How do you feel?" "Better," Tyler said, then frowned. "Mom said she was mean to you." "I'm sorry," Marcus smiled gently. "You don't have to apologize, buddy. Just focus on getting stronger." "Mom was wrong about you, wasn't she?" "You're nice," Marcus nodded. "Sometimes grown-ups make mistakes. What matters is learning from them." When Karen was finally allowed in the room, David's words cut deep. "Your racism almost killed our son, Karen. The man you hated saved him." Sarah's voice was icy. "We can't trust you around Tyler until you deal with your prejudice." Even Tyler's innocent questions pierced her heart. "Mommy, why were you mean to Dr. Williams? And to Sophia? She's nice. Can she be my friend?" The hardest confrontation came from Karen's own mother. "I thought I raised you better," Margaret said sternly. "You saw a loving father and chose to see danger. You nearly killed your own grandchild because of hate." Karen tried to speak, but her mother stopped her. "No excuses. You need to live with what you did." Karen faced possible jail time, but Marcus requested a meeting with the prosecutor. "I don't want her in prison," he said. "She needs to understand the harm she caused. I believe people can change." He proposed community service at Children's Hospital, counseling for racial bias, and public education about profiling. "Prison will make her bitter," he said quietly. "Service might make her better." Karen was stunned. The man she'd tried to destroy was offering her redemption. At first, she did her community service bitterly, reading to children, cleaning playrooms, avoiding eye contact. But 6 months later, she watched Marcus through an observation window as he performed emergency surgery on a 3-year-old girl. For 8 hours, he worked without rest, saving another life. As she saw the parents weeping with gratitude, the truth hit her like a wave. This was the man she'd treated as a criminal. This was who she'd almost taken from the world. Watching Marcus save that child changed everything for Karen. She realized she hadn't just judged a man, she had almost robbed countless families of hope. The surgeon she'd feared was the kind of person who spent his life giving children a second chance. Months passed, and as Tyler recovered, he started school again. His best friend quickly became Sophia Williams, the same girl Karen had once claimed was in danger. Karen would see them playing together after school, laughing in the park, painting on the sidewalk. Each time she watched, her shame grew heavier. The child she'd tried to protect was the one helping her son heal. 1 year after the arrest, Karen decided to make everything public. She wrote a letter and submitted it to the local newspaper. It went viral within days. "I almost cost my own son his life because of prejudice," the letter began. "I saw a loving father and daughter, and through the lens of racism, I saw danger. Dr. Marcus Williams is a hero who has saved hundreds of children, including mine. My fear and hatred nearly killed my own child. I was the danger, not him." She wrote about calling the police on a man teaching his daughter car maintenance, about the humiliation, the viral video, the horror of learning her victim was the only surgeon who could save her son. "Prejudice doesn't just hurt those we target," she wrote. "It destroys us too. My hatred almost took away the person I loved most." The letter spread across social media. Some mocked her, others thanked her for admitting the truth, but most saw it for what it was: a broken woman taking full responsibility. Karen didn't ask for forgiveness. She wanted to warn others. Exactly 1 year after Tyler's surgery, the school hosted its annual father-daughter dance. Marcus arrived in a suit, smiling proudly as Sophia twirled in her pink dress. She laughed, her joy lighting up the whole gym. Karen was there too, dropping Tyler off. He had begged to go so he could see Sophia. Through the glass window, Karen watched Marcus lift Sophia into the air, both of them laughing freely. Tyler ran up to hug them. The sight brought tears to Karen's eyes. She approached slowly, unsure if she had the right to speak. "I know I don't deserve forgiveness," she said softly, voice trembling. "But thank you for saving Tyler, and I'm sorry for what I did to you. And to Sophia." Sophia looked up at her father, who gave a gentle nod. Then she smiled at Karen with the innocent wisdom only children have. "It's okay, Mrs. Karen," she said. "Daddy says people can learn to be better." Marcus met Karen's eyes. There was no anger, no resentment, only quiet strength. "We all deserve a chance to grow," he said. "I hope you find peace." Karen stepped back and watched her son dance with Sophia, laughing beside the man she had once called dangerous. In that moment, she finally understood the lesson she had nearly learned too late. That love is what defines family, and fear only destroys it. From that night on, Karen devoted herself to change. She continued volunteering at the hospital, speaking publicly about bias and redemption. She told her story at schools and community centers, using her shame as a warning. "If you ever feel afraid of someone just because they look different," she would say, "remember me. I thought I was protecting a child, but I almost buried my own." As for Marcus and Sophia, life slowly returned to peace. They stayed in Willowbrook. Neighbors who had once turned away now waved when they passed. Mrs. Hayes still watched from her porch, proud to see how the street had changed. Sophia grew confident again, her laughter filling the same neighborhood that had once judged her family. And Karen never forgot the sound of that laughter. It reminded her of the miracle she didn't deserve. A miracle born from grace, not vengeance. Because sometimes karma doesn't come as punishment. Sometimes it comes as mercy, showing us who we could be if we let go of hate. The story of Marcus Williams and Karen Mitchell became a quiet legend in their town, a story of prejudice, justice, forgiveness, and the power of love to heal what fear destroys. If you believe that kindness can change even the hardest hearts, hit that subscribe button, share this story, and remember, it's never too late to be better.